Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Market Rants. I'm Wabi. I'm here joined by Mr. Spread. Is it over? $65,000 for one price of BTC. Is it actually over, guys? Is this cold world? Is this a cold world? That's the answer that everybody is trying to figure out, right? That's the question that we all have. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We can take a look at what's happening on in the crypto markets. Oh, boy. BTC down 2.3%. Solana down almost 5%. Let's go ahead and look at some of the top gainers and losers and see what's going on. Pepe Fork, Economy, sure. Rollbit up 21%, but look at that price. Golly, man, Rollbit. That is what a throwback, man. But man, Rollbit basically retraced an entire year of gains. Golly, man. Seems like the market just moved on from such a hyped narrative from last year, right? I mean, everything across the board is practically red. So, Mr. Spread, go ahead and tell us, man, what in the world is going on? Should we start looking at the KRE? Guys, smash up the like button. It's Friday. We need some answers. We need to speak to the infidels who caused this price. Can you imagine, fellas, waking up on a Friday morning and thinking, man, you know what? I think I'm going to try to ruin the summer for everybody and, round trip some prices here and there. But guys, something to take note of, right? We had CPI and FOMC this week, right? The data is clear, right? We're going into disinflation. PPI was quite bullish, but Jerome Powell went up there and basically just yapped about nothing, right? So it's like, you've got the equity markets just rage pumping. I think NVIDIA hit an all-time high yesterday of like 1,300 or something like that. Let me go ahead and
shocking.
Doing right
This is
now.
what prices do. This is what prices do in a bull run.
Look at this. I mean, the stock split already happened, right? But NVIDIA is basically at $1,300. I mean, the stock split, right? It was a 10-to-1 stock split.
Yep.
But you even have Microsoft up today. NVIDIA's up 2%. Year to date, NVIDIA's up almost 180%, completely destroying BTC. So, Mr. Spread, I want to share this with you, right? Last year, right, I think we met around this time, right? The equity markets were just going insanely bullish. While the crypto markets, they kind of lagged behind, but then in early July, they had a few trading sessions where the crypto market finally caught up a little bit. And that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be some sort of massive short squeeze where, a lot of people that are sidelined and think they'll have time to accumulate, they're going to get blown out in opportunity costs. And a lot of this, catching up to do is probably going to happen within a few days, worth. So guys, smash up the like button if you want to see prices go up. Smash up the like button if you want to see BTC go to 44K. But Mr. Spread, what's going on, brother? I'm going to go ahead and pull up this chart that you're sharing with me, man. So what's going on, brother? What are the fellas at KRE saying, man?
All the time you're making me laugh. First of all, I want to say a big hello and congrats to you for this kind of attitude. It's very rare, and I think this is a rare commodity to still stay optimistic when most of the timeline is pessimistic and most of the people are crying. The only red I see, brother, is the red in my sangria because I'm here in beautiful Spain for the last 1 week and I'm still going to stay here for 1 week. So that's the only red I see in my sangria glasses. But just looking at this chart before I'm going to go into it and we're going to speak about it, it's a little bit crazy to me that people are panicking here. Can this be a local top? Yes, absolutely. It can be a local top, but I'm going to touch upon that very soon because you mentioned NVIDIA and you mentioned Microsoft. And I want to add an analogy here. I don't know how good it's going to be for people from United States, right? So for Americans, but I'm going to use an analogy for soccer, right? For Premier League. Because I think a lot of people from the United States are much more aware with that kind of analogy. Let's say, because I see this kind of mentality from a lot of doomers and a lot of people who cannot understand the concentration in the big indexes right now. And we're also going to speak about the KRE, which is the regional banks ETF. Now,
it's a good thing to talk about because I know the regional banks are they might be going through a little situation, man. But
yes.
just looking at Bitcoin right now, man, I think as long as we hold above 64.5, 64.4, which is the all-time high for the Coinbase IPO 3 years ago. I think we're just fine, to be honest, man.
I have a beautiful chart prepared for you for a weekly, daily, and after that, even a smaller range that we're gonna take a look on. But I just want to finish that idea with soccer, right? You know, Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, etc. Those are the tops of their league in Premier League, in British football, right? In England.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm a person who wants to put my money on a bet, although I don't like to compare or to have this analogy between investing and betting, but let's say I'm looking in those in that championship, in which teams I'm gonna put my money if I want to still have some potential gains, right? And like a much safer bet. Will I put on the teams on the bottom of the championship, or when I'm gonna choose all the time the winners, or I'm gonna concentrate my biggest funds to the winners, Manchester City, Liverpool recently, right? Manchester United, etc. The same analogy happened for the last 20 years, I would say, but especially since last year when we had the regional banks failing in United States, right? So when we had Silicon Valley Bank failing, when we had First Republic and the whole banking sector, but especially the KRE, which is the regional bank ETF sector, they got hit. So we saw a lot of flight to safety. So instead of going out to fully cash, because let's say you are a fund manager, let's say you are someone who are working on Wall Street and you're managing hundreds of millions of billions of dollars, what would you do? Because you still have to show returns to your clients, you still have to gain those juicy commissions at the year end, but in the same time you also want to go to like some type of a hedge, but also to have exposure. So this was one of the reasons why we saw last year a little bit of unorthodox, right? So a little bit of reverse move when people thought that we're going to go into a full crisis mode with United States indexes. A lot of people fled the regional banks and also the banking sector, and they went to Nvidia, they went to Facebook, Google, they went to the big seven, right? And this is what we actually were seeing right now. The same concentrated bets. That's why S&P 500 is leading. So guess what? Leaders are gonna lead, and this is something I would say normal in the current market conditions. So you have two options: either you can bitch about and you can cry about and you can whine about, either you can adapt and join the rally at some point in time, or you just stay sidelined. But this is my theory, and I don't know. What do you think about this kind of analogy?
Yeah, I think this, right? If we take a look at how like liquidity cycles work, typically Fed increases rates. After they increase rates from their last hike, we typically rally for about a year. And then within that first quarter, within the first quarter after they have had interest rates hiked for a year or so, they start talking about, the next phase of the liquidity cycle, which is easing, right? More easy policy, stuff like that. And, I think at least one rate cut is already priced in. And if you just take a look at how the equity markets, if you want to bring up the QQQs, man, feel free to do so.
Sure.
The Qs, right, which is basically the index for like mega cap tech and US indices, every single year since 2016 has been bullish. I know 2022 was a bit of an anomaly, right? We kind of crashed into the summer, but then we pumped out of it, right? Then we had that crash in September and October, whatever. But typically the summertime for the equity markets is quite bullish, right? And usually for crypto, right, if equity markets are going to pump sometime in the summer, we typically find the bottom mid-June. And that's exactly what happened last year around this time. We found our bottom end of the range that we essentially ranged in for multiple quarters, right? That bottom was at, right around 25K. This time last year, right, in mid-June, bottom was just under 25K. We hit that in mid-June. We take a look at the range that we've been in now, the upper range, 64 to 65K, is that bottom of the upper end of the range, 65 to 71K. That's our upper end of the range. Mid-range is probably like, 62 to 65. Lower range, 52 to 62, right?
This is what you have.
58.
This is what we have. This is what we have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So right now we're in the upper range, and I think we have to hold here. I think there might be some sort of fake out, but I'm going to say this right now on stream, man. If the QQQs actually pull off the same move that they did last year, without a shadow of a doubt, Bitcoin will make another all-time high. Although my base speculation is that it'll probably just be like another deviation, right? So perhaps 77 to 78, right? That's sort of the market conditions that we've been in over the last 18 months, right? Whenever Bitcoin finds itself in a range, it has a little deviation above, goes back into another accumulation zone, and then pops out, right? So maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe once we break out of 74K, we go to like 85 or something like that, right? And with BTC, right, if we take a look at the move that happened in February, right, that late February stage, we went from 55, 50 to 60K plus pretty quickly, right? I think within a day, we went from like 56 to 64 within one trading day, right? That massive candle that you see right there, man. History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes, right? And most of these moves, they happen via liquidations. And I think today we've had like 200 million, close to 200 million in long liquidations. But of course, I know some people, for the most part, right, like we all hold altcoins, right? And even though your altcoin might be down a significant amount, all you need is a 10% counter from BTC, and it makes an all-time high, right? Specifically with meme coins. So as far as like, the banking crisis and all that stuff in regards to crypto, I kind of think that like crypto has forgotten about all that stuff, right? Maybe if we were in lower prices, we'd have more of a reactionary effect. But it seems that right now, BTC is basically acting inverted compared to the equity markets. And at some point, there's always a catch-up trade. And, that catch-up trade typically happens because of a liquidation event for bears. So that's kind of how I'm looking at things short term, man.
You're not wrong on that. You're not wrong at all. Hold on for just 1 second to share, because I have another chart which I want to share with you guys. It's actually the NDX, and it says it speaks volumes. At least for me, this speaks volume. And I know that I was a little bit spicy here, or I was making fun of people around this area, and when I made that post. But I don't think that this time is different. Okay, so when we were here somewhere around this area and Nasdaq was rallying, we had this gap. Let's see if I can do it also from my away laptop. I think this is what, yeah. So we had the same kind of discrepancy, right? So we saw in early May how Nasdaq was rallying, and this is exactly when I made the post, when Nasdaq was printing towards a new all-time high, was inching above $18,000. And at that point in time, we had the Bitcoin around 61. And again, people were speaking about decorrelations. And again, people were speaking that, this time is different, etc. That's why I made that post. And I was like, guys, I think that one of the most expensive phrases in trading or in investing is that this time is different. So what happened after that is very easily to see what happened after that. It exactly happened, the catch-up trade that you're talking about. I think in 10 days after this, we had from 61, we blasted towards 72, 74, and Bitcoin caught up with Nasdaq. After this, we saw exactly. So look at the patterns, okay, right? So we had the correction. Nasdaq recovered and is leading, obviously. And now the same people who were saying that this is over when it was 61, and they were calling for 44, and they were calling for 58 first, and 44, etc. They are the same people who are saying that this time is again going to be different, and these jaws are not going to be closed. The only way how I see Bitcoin going lower is if Bitcoin is not going to play the catch-up trade, and actually equities are going to start dumping for some goddamn reason. But this is not my base case scenario right now. So like this was not different, and all the way here, if I remove all the drawings, and we can see that the correlation was closer to 1 at some point in time, but it's very close. I think it's 0.85, 0.90, and now it's a little bit bigger. But if it was not different all throughout history, right, and all throughout the last 3, 4, 5 years, why would this time be different? And why would I be on that side of this time is going to be different trade? So if something is not happening, and if you don't see a systemic risk in the global markets or in the United States, that it's going to put like a sharp drop in equities, like a sharp drop and making it the end of the cycle, right? I'm not talking about local top, because if this is local top, Bitcoin is going to fall towards 60, maybe 54, 50, 58, 54, etc. I'm talking about like a systemic risk. But if not, most likely the way we saw here, this gap closing between Bitcoin and Nasdaq, that's most likely we're also going to see something like this. I'm not going to say that it's going to be parabolic, but I'm not going to bet on this time is going to be different. I don't think that this is the time to look for shorts, at least not now. I don't think that the risk reward is there for shorts. And I will share a chart with you. I will share another chart with you and with everybody, because the time to look for shorts was between 2022 and 2023 early spring, until Bitcoin broke above 21,000, 23, 24,000. I think that was the time when you could have ended the mentality to look for shorts, because I think, okay, if you're a trader and this is what you're doing mainly, it's fine. But I still think that looking for shorts right now, when Bitcoin is still in a macro bullish uptrend, is minus EV. So, I mean, my mentality, and it was not easy even for me to flip from short the rip to buy the dip, but I'm making consciously decisions to not look for shorts and look for buying opportunities from here from lower, etc. Whenever I see good entries.
Yeah, I see someone has commented, "You fools, we are in June 2019. Rate cuts come next month. We go sideways and down till December. Create a handle for the macro cycle cup. You bunch of lemons. Come on, use your brains."
Okay. Can I answer to
if I'm a lemon, you need to squeeze me because you're lacking in concentration. So let's make some lemonade. All right, let's go ahead and cook. We got some good charts to share with you guys.
I'm happy that we have a contradictory views, because if everybody would agree with us, it would mean that we would be in an echo chamber. However, if that gentleman who calls us lemmings right now thinks that there is only one side of the story, I want to bring him a different view or a different angle for a gentleman's debate, right? Yes, cuts can be bearish, but it depends also on the context of the markets where we find ourselves. So since 1980, I think it's a study done by Ryan Dietrich, which I read and I really enjoyed. We had different scenarios when Federal Reserve cut, and there are three different type of scenarios. If Federal Reserve cuts because of a recession, that's the worst type of scenario. Indexes drop between 10 to maybe even 18%, and the recovery takes between 9 to 12 months, maybe even 16 months until we go to break even. This is the first scenario. The second scenario is a panic cut, like we had in COVID, right? So we have a sharp drop in equities, in indexes, and it takes between 1.5 and 3 months to recover. But 12 months after that, we are between 10 to 15% higher. And the third scenario is like we're going right now. It seems like we're going right now towards a normalization cut. So Federal Reserve hiked the rates for quite some time, and now they are cutting the rates, but they are cutting the rates when United States economy is actually pretty stable. The job market is looking solid. Yes, we saw some cracks recently, but it's nothing to be scared of, at least not now. The housing market is still doing very much okay. Inflation, I'm not going to say that the Federal Reserve won the war against inflation, but it looks like it's going down. So I don't know if you're going to go directly to disinflation. However, it looks like in the next 6 to 9 months, we're going to go to the scenario where Federal Reserve is going to cut towards a normalization type of scenario. And if that happens, we might see a drop of 1, 2, 3, 4% after the first cut in equities in S&P 500. But 12 months after that, S&P 500 historically since 1980 has been up between 10 to 15% in 90% of the cases, if I remember correctly, the research from Ryan Dietrich. So and when everybody, or when most of the people are pushing just one narrative that, oh, Federal Reserve is going to cut, the markets are going to crash, I think that's just a bit lazy, and some people need a little bit more research to understand the context when the Federal Reserve cuts.
Yeah, I think the first cut's not really going to do much. I think if anything, we'll probably like have one more push for our altcoins, to be honest. And then the second one, that's where we really need to like pay attention. But so far, it just seems like we're probably just going to get one. And Powell so far hasn't lied at all. But just going back to BTC, I think if we just look at things from the May open and moving forward, I think that's pretty good, right? And I basically use Boomer TA, right? I just go on CoinGecko, and that's it. So if you look at this, higher high, higher high, higher high. But here, I think we got to hold this line in the sand, right? Over the last 3 months, this line right here on my cursor is 65K. If we break that, we basically go back to like mid-range. And altcoins, they're taking a hammer today, man. They're taking a big hammer, a massive hammer. But once the catch-up trade happens on BTC, I think we go full Apetardio mode, and I think things on base go absolutely crazy. But I think patience is going to be like the number one thing this cycle, right? The longer the base, the higher into space. And truth be told, man, just going back to BTC, like this is the max chart for BTC, the most amount of data that CoinGecko will allow me to pull off. And we haven't had that true massive all-time high break, which in my opinion would have to be 82, 83K, right? And I think yesterday on Spaces, Joe Carlos there was like, on an inflation-adjusted number, S&P is about to make an all-time high, right? And for BTC to do the same thing, we would need BTC to go towards 80K plus, right? And I mean, the price of goods has gone up, 25% over the last 2.5 years. And I think that's why nobody really cares about crypto right now, right? It's really just our own echo bubble and a little bit of retail, right? I think the amount of retail that has come in is probably like 20-25% of what came in during previous cycles, right? So that's my dubious speculation take on that, man. But I see you brought up something else, man. But
Yep.
I do see, guys, we have a little over 100 people here live on the stream. I'm going to ask you this one favor, guys. Really helps out with the algorithm. Doesn't take much time. If you guys are enjoying the stream with me and Mr. Spread, brought to you by Because Bitcoin, go ahead and smash that like button. If you guys want us to cover any altcoins, feel free to throw them down in the chat. And not even 25%, Wabi. I mean, I think so, right? We've had Solana hit an all-time high as far as market cap goes. That takes a ton of volume. So we've had BNB hit an all-time high this year, which takes a ton of volume. So I do think retail is coming in, but not as fast as people really think, right? And that's why, like, I think BTC making an all-time high kind of psyoped a lot of people and thought that like we would be at like 90K plus right now. And the fact of the matter is, man, like I think the cycle is just going to play out the same as far as like lengthwise. But if you put into context, right, Fed cuts rates, market crashes a little bit, relaxes, goes through a new accumulation zone. The market could actually extend until quarter one of 2026, right? So,
I don't disagree with you, because if Federal Reserve, and if we look at the if we overlap the United States bond yields for 3 months, right, the 3-month bond yields with the current federal fund rates, and over the 6 months, we see that until at least September, October, the earliest, we don't have a cut. So what you said right there makes a lot of sense, that we might have a cycle that is going to go towards the fourth quarter of 2025 or first quarter of 2026. Why did I brought up this very nice research from Ryan Dietrich from Carson Investment? Because I wanted people not just to hear what I'm saying, also to visualize what I'm saying. And these were the 3 types of the scenarios that I was talking about: normalization, panic crash, or recession. So this is what happens. Maximum we can have like 3 months if we're gonna have a cut. But look at the drops when we had 3 months of cuts in normalization in 1984 or in 1995. Actually, 1995, after the Reserve cut the rates, S&P 500 was up in the first month 1% almost, 3 months after 5%. And again, normalization in 2019, first month minus almost 2%, and the third month already up 2%. And 12 months later, already up 9% from the first cut. So this is what I'm saying. I mean, if people, and I know that fear sells quite a lot. That's why a lot of people are pushing gloom and doom. And that's why a lot of perma-bears and perma-doomers have hundreds of thousands of followers, because it's very easy to prey on the fear of people. But I like to follow both sides of the aisle, let's say like this. I'm following also perma-bulls. I'm following also perma-bears. But in the same time, I'm also following people who have research, and they have this kind of reports like Mr. Dietrich had. So I just wanted to bring this up when people think that it's just one side of a coin, and if it's just a cut, which is going to drop immediately. And I don't think that is true.
Yeah. Do you think the market is about to go ogre mode? Yujiro Hanma? We need some strength, man. We need to see some strength real quick. But Typically whenever Fed cuts rates and all that stuff, and we do have a dip 12 months later, we are higher. It's usually an all-time high, right? And as far as like, bears and all that stuff, it's mainly just for engagement, to be honest, right? Because we all know that it's typically for the crypto markets the post-halving year when things really, really, really get crazy, right? And it's typically the first quarter where most of the gains are made, right? Quarter one of 2017, we had ETH go from like 500 to 300 bucks. Quarter one of 2021, most altcoins, they did the majority of their move during that time period, right? Solana going from $2 to 60 bucks, that's more of an aggressive move than 60 to 260 bucks, right? Luna went from 30 cents to 20 cents. AVAX went from like $3 to like 60 bucks. Like most of the moves happen within that first quarter of the post-halving year, and there's usually some sort of like it's so over dip in the previous year in either September or October, right? And even like last cycle, if you remember, around Christmas time, when BTC was at like 27, 28, the consensus was this is going to be a Bitcoin-led cycle. This is going to be a Bitcoin-led cycle.
This is going to be different.
Like the guys, don't you know you're being psyoped here? The bears are trying to tear out your soul, man. What you guys need to do is be like orange juice and be filled with more concentration, right? Hey, BTC is orange, right? So orange juice, BTC juice, right? So
I just I just want to say something here, and I think it's very important. In these moments when you feel that you want to throw up, I think these are exactly the moments. If you have dry powder, and I still hope that you have some dry powder, you add on some of these dips, but you add on quality. One thing that is different from the other cycles, because I don't think that is different, but we have some small different things from cycles to cycles. From 2020 until now, or the main difference between 2020 2021 bull run and this one is the fact that we don't have that same amount of quantitative easing that we had from Federal Reserve and also from the other central banks in the world. So the monetary base didn't expand, or is not expanding at the same pace, and we don't have the same ultra cheap money bazooka monetary policies, right? Where people were splashing around, where companies were also splashing around after COVID, and also the social effect that people were just inside and they didn't have what to do. So maybe this is also another reason why normies or the retail is not here, and we don't have the same thing, and we are still in PvP mode. I think we had some type of sector seasons, I would call them like that, like meme sector and AI sector that were rallying. But mostly since Bitcoin halving and since Bitcoin went towards 60, 70K and printed a shy all-time high, I think it was still PvP, and it's still PvP. I mean, we are the same retards and the same degens from the last cycles, and it's just a small batch of new people, which they came. We saw what happened with Coinbase downloads and how much it went up in ranking, and after that they left. So I think this is the biggest takeaway. I don't think that they are still here when it comes to the broader, like to the critical mass, but I think they're gonna come once we're gonna see Bitcoin above 80, 82, or just blasting towards 100K. And I think this is a real possibility that can happen, like also like last cycles, man, towards the end of the year, September, October, November.
Give me 1 second, man.
No all season until December, January. Anyone to want to? Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree, but although I think it might be a little bit earlier because of the way I'm seeing Ethereum, Bitcoin. But let's just talk a little bit also on the charts, because I think we just yapped a lot, Wabi. This is my range, and this is what I was watching mainly for trading. If I wanted, again, I don't want to be in selling mode. I don't want to be in shorting mode, especially when Bitcoin is like this, especially also with altcoins. I don't like to short them when Bitcoin is still in this macro up range close to the all-time highs. So this was the bigger range for me. All of these ones from under 60K were deviations. We can see that the market didn't find acceptance under 60, 61,000. These dips were quickly bought. This was a false break, and it sent the price much higher. So anything that is going to tap under this area for me and recover, for me, it's going to be most likely a buy in the altcoins that I'm eyeing. Within this bigger range that is printing since late February, early March, I have like a smaller range, which this is exactly what you mentioned. If we go on weekly, and we can see that these are the highs from the last cycle. Okay, so the area from 64, 65K are the highs from the last cycle. So for me, this is how I'm actually preparing, and this is what is my current framework.
Man,
for Bitcoin.
I think when people think about alt season, they're thinking about this, right? They're thinking, how's Cardano doing, right? Shocker. How's ADA doing? And it's like, dude, don't you guys understand, right? Instead of looking at Cardano, okay, the Cardano for this cycle is Pepe.
100%. You nailed it, man. You nailed it.
The Cardano for this cycle is Pepe. So we look at the market cap for Pepe, $4 billion, right? Go back to ADA, and Pepe is viral. That's the thing. And I know ADA also went viral, but doesn't really have that memeability effect, right? We take a look at Cardano's old all-time high market cap, which is the most important thing to view. Cardano hit 93 billion, right? Even the cycle before that, Cardano hit 30 billion. And that is my minimum target for Pepe. So when people think, alt season, alts aren't doing anything. Alts gave all their gains back. Dude, it's because you're looking at absolute dog shit like AVAX. You're looking at crap like SHIB. Like, dude, these things haven't done anything for the most part this entire cycle, right? So bottom for SHIB, basically did nothing since the low of FTX up until February. And it pulled off like a 4x move. Compare that to Pepe. Pepe did like a 10x straight up in a straight line, and SHIB has been bleeding against BTC ever since. Whether it's Pepe continued to make higher highs, people are actually looking at Uni BTC for signal for alts. Why would you use an exchange token, guys, for your altcoin alpha? You're using a governance DEX token to view the health of the altcoin space. People are looking at Chainlink for altcoin signal. Why would you look at something that has basically done nothing on BTC relative terms?
Don't remind me of Chainlink, because if I pull out
since 2020, guys, you have people with 1 million followers, almost 1 million followers, with their X and YouTube channels combined, telling you shit like Link BTC, Uni BTC, Litecoin BTC, these absolute dog crap projects, Polkadot, like, dude, these things have done nothing in almost 4 years against BTC, man. Look at this, bro. 3+ years. That's it. That's insane, dude. Like, there is no signal in trying to point out Dino projects when the new narrative has been things like WIF, it's been Solana memes, it's been base memes, right? Like, people just don't want to put in the work, dude, and they're just salty because they suck. They don't actually want to be market participants.
They
right?
don't adapt, Wabi. And can I add something here? I think that the bear market was so brutal, and I think it left so deep and so many and so deep scars that they didn't have the adaptability, and they were left with analysis paralysis, right? So they were not able to adapt to the new meta and understand that these older coins have a lot of people who are back holders, and this is what's going to suppress the price at all the rallies. Most of them, okay, we had some outliers like Solana, right, or BNB, but most of the ones that you also repeated right now, like Litecoin, Uniswap, Ripple, Cardano, most of these ones have people who have holders who bought near the Pico top or in the middle of the cycle. So those people, because of this PTSD and because of this grueling 2 years bear market that we've been through, they will sell fast at a loss, suppressing the price. So that's why Wabi is rambling right now in a very good way, and he's like actually speaking truth, that you should look for newer projects, and you should have looked already for newer projects, understanding the cycles that we had or the sector seasons that we had, and especially looking for altcoins that were at least bottoming versus Bitcoin, and they were breaking out from some multi-monthly bear market ranges, like we had Sol BTC, like we had Ondo BTC, like we had FET BTC, Render BTC when we had the AI season, Pepe BTC, with BTC. So this is the type of scenarios and this is the type of approach. I think that was much more proactive, but needed also a little bit more groundwork and to be in the trenches, not just to expect for things to fall out of the sky just for the usual alt season, because the usual alt season is not going to be different. If you want the usual alt season, this is, I think, in my opinion, the framework. We should see Bitcoin again rallying for its second leg higher of the cycle, going towards 80, 84, 90, ranging for a little bit, money flowing to Ethereum to go to what Gary Gensler said towards the autumn, right? When Ethereum ETFs are going to be more approved, then we're going to see the flows into them. Ethereum rallying, printing an all-time high, and after that money flowing to mid and the smaller caps, that's when you're going to get most likely your broader market alt season. But until then, there were and there will be opportunities to make money if you're paying attention to the market and to the narratives.
Yeah, that's just facts, man. I think we could dive into some small caps, right? Some low cap gems, some things that we're eyeing, man. And the title does say Apetardio Summer, man. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick. This is one of my low cap picks, Apetardio. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Apetardio on base. And dude, it seems like micro caps across the board don't really give a shit, dude. A lot of things on base are continuing to uptrend, or they're just in this massive accumulation zone, right? Take a look at things like actually no, I think I'm just gonna pull out base and then try to find Brett. Let me see. Yeah, this is one that like people have been eyeing for a long time. And I think, dude, like base with their rollout of their smart wallet, man, I think this ecosystem has the potential to rival that of even Solana, to be honest. I think that's the wrong Brett, man. It's not giving me the data from like months and months ago. Pretty sure it's this one now. Yeah, Brett. So throughout the entire time, right, that Bitcoin has been basically range bound, right? Look at this monster move that Brett has pulled off. Almost a 10x, right? And I think when you look at things on base, you take a look at their market cap, right? It has so much catching up to do compared to things on Sol, right? So many things, man. I think there's a ton of opportunity here, to be honest. I also think things like OK Egg are going to absolutely rip. Like if you're bullish on Pepe and the Poo, what do you think of this chart spread? Be honest. We had that first parabolic advance. We had that 60-70% drawdown. Now we have an accumulation zone while BTC is basically ranging. What are your honest thoughts, man, about a chart like this?
I can tell you my super honest thoughts. I think that anything between this level, which if you remember the games, 1337 reads lit, which was like the elite in Counter-Strike and the elite in 1337, it's lit, leading backwards, regardless. OG shooter player knows. But anything between 1337 and 1000, I think it can be a very nice accumulation zone if that level holds. So in my opinion, I would, if I like this and if I understand the narratives and if I understand the liquidity right here, anything between here and a little bit lower can be an extremely good risk reward going forward.
Yeah. What do you think of the Apetardio chart? Again, no bias here whatsoever, man. And I want to give a full disclaimer, right? Because we are sharing low caps here. When you buy low caps, you should be comfortable in waiting months, weeks. If you think you're going to 10x in a day or so, rewind that and think, twice, 3 times 10x longer, right? Right now, we're just dubiously speculating on low caps. I know Mr. Spread has some things that he wants to share with me. So, Spread, what are your thoughts on the Apetardio chart, man? I have the 4-hour pulled off.
This looks very clean. This looks very clean, brother. This looks very clean. And what I see from here, I see a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. So if you look, we have like an upward trending channel from the high, low, And yep. It's a zigzag going upwards. Yeah.
And it is a low cap, man. But let's bring up something.
I have to say, and I have to admit something. Full disclosure, I
Yeah.
haven't been so much in the trenches besides Andy, and I did my work on Andy, and I still hold the coin, and I like the coin. Besides this, I'm most likely gonna add Pepe to my boomer stack because I'm heavily on Bitcoin and Fetch and some of the other Sui, IMX, some of the others, and Doge. So I have Doge right now, and I have Andy as meme coins in my portfolio, and I also want to add Pepe. But if I'm talking about Andy, we had that beautiful bull flag which was pushing, and most likely would have went to 370 million market cap. Unfortunately, we had that episode with that whale being hacked. It is what it is the name of the game. But I like what I see even now on your screen. I like the numbers of buys. I like the community is solid.
I do have something to share, right? So
Please.
You take a look at Andy, right? It might actually retest its old all-time high of 150
I agree.
market cap. It might even be below that. But here's the thing, and I'm not even sure if Max has paid attention to this. Maybe he has. Maybe he said it on market check. But if we take a look at Pepe, right? Pepe did the same thing not too long ago, right? Pepe had this massive move up, 10x, whatever. Go back to Andy. Andy had, this massive move up. It looks like it's about to test its old all-time high. Go back to Pepe. And then you see, where was it?
I can help you. I think I can help you with a very nice chart with them too. Let me see.
You see this right over here. It was close to its old all-time high here, and then it had a massive move up. So maybe Andy actually does end up pulling the same move, right? And I've said this over the last week and a half or so, right? I think Andy is something where it's a clean 10x from where it's at right now towards the end of the year, right? Because I think Pepe is going to go to 10 bill by the end of the year, right? So it seems like I think Andy's probably Pepe last year, right? I think so.
It can be.
Same sort of moves also. So where are you going to pull up, brother? I'll pull up your
chart.
No.
It's fine. I just try to overlap them, but we don't have enough history on some of the exchanges. It's okay, but it does look like the same after Andy did also this latest rally, and it looks like Pepe. So we have this consolidation, and I agree with you. I like it there. I think between 0.18, so between 180 towards 150, maybe even lower to like a week, some liquidity grab if Bitcoin also drops under 66. We can see Andy around 140, 145, but I like that area, and I think I'm gonna add on it. Although even there, I what can I say? I have to be grateful for you guys for mentioning this. I wish I would join. I joined much earlier on it, but like you said, if you're trying to allocate to meme coins, you have to understand that it's high risk, also high potential reward, and you cannot expect these gains in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And the best lesson for this, I think, came out from Captain Max, who gave his lessons with that 3 million position that he liquidated on Pepe too soon.
Yeah, man. Is there anything that you wanted to pull up, man? Anything that you're looking at on the on the low cap sector?
On the low caps, I don't have low caps, but I have something that it's on my radar, and I can share them with you because I want to add a bit of quality besides some of this. So maybe I'm gonna do a mix in the upcoming months besides between quality and some of these low caps to balance it out. Let me pull it up. Something that I have been eyeing, and actually it has been a beast for some time. Let me know if you see it. Yeah, so I have been eyeing this since I was Dubai. I token 2049, and since then this was one of the leaders of the market. It's TON, or a TON network. And why I think that this is flying still under the radar, because not a lot of people are talking about it, but one of the most important.
That's a Telegram token, right?
Yes. And more important than that, I think that the fact that Paolo from Tether, right, so the CEO of Tether, put his name and his brand next to it and behind it, and in token 2049 he came hand in hand with the CEO of TON. This speaks volumes, and this is going to be on my radar, although this is not going to be one of the most sexiest allocations that I will make for this bull run, because this can go, I don't know, 2-3x from here in the full-blown alt season. but I'm looking to add some of this quality because I think this can really perform nicely. And look at this kind of price action, and even recently. So this most of the altcoin market was just absolutely shitting the bed in the last 2-3 days when Bitcoin was also retracing, and this is pulling another all-time high. This is what I'm watching, and this is what I have been doing since the beginning of the year. I have been watching outperformers, and I was adding on their dips, and I was trading them. I have my spot bag, is fine, but I was trading these outperformers because I want to still trade them and maybe even let them on spot. Like, this is what you want to see for something that you want to trade. And look how it's looking versus Bitcoin. I mean, this is absolutely nuts. When Bitcoin is going to find the bottom, this is going to skyrocket. And even now, with Bitcoin bleeding, this is putting almost a weekly candle at above the previous highs from here. This looks extremely good, in my opinion. This is something that I have on my radars. I think everybody should have it on their radars for any type of pullbacks. BNB, obviously, printed an all-time high. This was a false break, but still holding above these levels. I think that all this area for me, anything under 595, I don't know what levels we will exactly tap and when we're going to stop. However, all this area for me might be a very nice bid for the mid to long term. I like all this area from here, even if we lose it, because we had a false break. And when we have a false break in one direction, most of the times we have a bigger move to the opposite direction. But anytime we're gonna go to these levels and bounce, I'm looking to add on BNB. I have traded the fuck out of it since we broke out above 320. I called it the forgotten dragon. I spoke about it so many times on the timeline. People were not paying attention to it, and this just ripped. So I like also BNB. Another thing that I like, it's Ondo. Not so similar to Ton, like not so strong, but among the strongest ones. And I've even here around this level, if Bitcoin can hold this current mid-range around 65, 66,000, and we can bounce from this area, this can be a nice swing long from here. But if we drop lower and test the previous all-time highs from here and the breakout area from here, if we don't have a swing long from here, I'm looking to have a swing long from here. Under this, I just want to see more recovery, but I think that 1.17 or one area, which is a psychological level, I think these levels can be very interesting. And I'm also going to look. So Ton, BNB, Ondo are on my list. Solana, obviously. But I have two interesting scenarios. One is Chilis. And this is just a narrative that I might look to see if it's working.
It seems
no, this is because of
the sports coin.
Yes, it's the sports one, but not this old chart. I have another one which looks much more cleaner. It's the one with the teams, right? So what I'm thinking about it, because we have the European Football Championship, and I was working on this chart for quite some time, and we have a massive inverse head and shoulders, as we can see from here, and also a breakout from the falling wedge. So if this at least holds above this level with the current narrative with the European Championship, even if we have some type of liquidity pickup from here, so a drop lower with a week, I think this can be interesting for the upcoming months. But this is just short to medium term. In case Bitcoin finds a bottom, a local bottom, and starts rallying, this can be an interesting allocation because of the current narrative with the European Football Championship. This is something that I'm eyeing, and I have it on my radar. Plus, the structures look very interesting. And one more thing, it's cake. I think that people forgot about this, but this is the big.
Don't threaten me with a good time, brother.
This was one of the hottest altcoins in the last cycle. This is still the coin of the biggest DEX on Binance chain. So if we saw BNB absolutely smashing through all-time high, why not to have this on my radar? But just for how to say it, just for a very nice risk reward, because this drop even now, I think it's more than almost 90-something% lower, so 95% lower, and it has quite similar bottoming formation, like inverse head and shoulders.
How's the market cap? Like, is the market cap, is the market cap also down 90%, or is it like is it one of those tokens that like had a lot of high emissions?
Let's check it out.
Yeah, that's one thing that I pay attention to when it comes to like DEX.
Yeah, you see, right? So it's kind of shitty.
You see? Oh, yeah, it's still down. It's still down quite a bit, but it does look like it had some emissions, right? Like,
yeah.
I know, Osmosis, right? Osmo. That's the Cosmos token and their DEX. Like it kind of has the same sort of thing, right? Like I'll just pull this up real quick, right?
Sure.
Let me see. View to wait. Oh yeah, my bad. Apologies for that. Take a look at the market cap, right? All-time high market cap was just over $3 billion. 1.1, but then you look at price tells you the completely different story, right?
Right.
All-time high was almost $11. For Osmo to go to $11 right now, the market cap would have to exceed multiples above its previous market cap, right? In order
Right.
for the USD denominated price to catch up to its previous all-time high, the market cap would have to be substantially higher. And that's something that I'm not sure a lot of people are paying attention to, right? So if Osmo does a 10x from here to, match its previous all-time high, it still has to do like a 2x, right?
2.5x, 2.5x, correct.
Roughly. So with Cake, I'll bring up Cake right here. Let's see how the data looks. Because I am bullish on BNB, and I think the BNB eco is going to go a bit, crazy here. So, dang, I did not know Cake actually went that high to $41. That's insane.
Yeah, it did.
So all-time high market cap. There it is. Wow, it's basically almost the same thing, spread. 10x for it to, reach its old all-time high market cap. But as far as price would basically have to rally like 85% more. The market cap for Cake would have to increase 85% more to reach its nominal value in USD terms when it comes to price per token. I think that's the thing that that's the thing with a lot of these tokens, man. I think that's why a lot of people they like there are some communities in crypto, they only mess with things like BTC and Kaspa and meme coins and stuff like that, right? Because there's no like hidden supply or anything like that, right? Like I think just going back
I have the Kaspa chart if you want. I love it, and this was my next. Yeah, this was my next value. I would say this was my next quality that I want to add. And you brought up a very fair point. I'm not gonna add my Ichimoku on it, but look at it, man. This was a beast, and this still looks like a beast. If you're looking at
it, out of the Ikumoku Baki clouds, man.
Are you sure that you want? Listen, I can do that. I can do that.
Baki. We need a new indicator called the Hanma clouds, not the Ichimoku, the Hanma clouds. Was that
okay? Just for King Wabi and just for because Bitcoin fam, I'm gonna call it the Hanma cloud. Okay, so pay attention. Okay, guys. First of all, disclaimer: please don't start with any kind of indicator because all indicators are lagging indicators. The only true teller in stocks and in charting is price. That's the only thing that is going to tell you the truth, and that's the only thing that you need confirmation from. So start with price action and market structures and levels. That's what you need. Practice the fuck out of that, and after that is going to be good. Now, if we have this special request from King Wabi, I'm going to go ape mode on Ichimoku. This is the only indicator I use, nothing else. And if you want to talk about Ichimoku, we can start with the top-down analysis, and this is what we need. Man, this is going to be a very fast crash course, all right? In order for us to have a bullish type of scenario, and I'm going to pull out because this is what I'm doing to have exact explanation for people who do not know Ichimoku, although Ichimoku is called the king of charts, the king of indicators. And hold on for just 1 second because I have them line up just for you beautiful people. Okay, so this is what we need in order for us to have a bullish scenario, and obviously we start from higher time frames. So for an uptrend, we need the price to be above the Kumo. Kumo, it's called cloud in Japanese, to be above the conversion line. The conversion line is the Tenkan-sen, the red line, and to be above the baseline or Kijun. So we have this condition, so we can do this. The Kumo to be thick and green, and it's thick and green on weekly. Bear in mind, it's very important. So second condition being met. Conversion line right, which is the Tenkan-sen, the red line, to be above the baseline and to be above the Kumo. Conversion line here is above the baseline and it's above the Kumo. So the third condition for Kaspa is being met, even under the current market conditions when altcoins are absolutely being crushed. And the last part, if you want to be more Catholic than the Pope and you want to have extra confirmations, you need the lagging span or the Chiku span to be above the Kumo and to be far from the price. Here we still need some momentum, but we can see that all the four elements for a bullish weekly uptrend, we have them passing on Kaspa. So on higher time frame, Kaspa is very bullish. Let's see if short term the same things apply. We saw and we still see that we don't have all the conditions being met because the price is above the Kumo, but it's not above the conversion line. So what do we need right now? We need a bit of momentum, so a bit of an upthrust, short term. And once the price is going to go above the conversion line, so above the Tenkan-sen, Kaspa, most likely this is going to happen when we're going to take out this intermediary resistance. And if we take out some liquidity from here and bounce, so when we're going to see Kaspa around above 0.17, 0.173 in the mid 17s, most likely we're going to regain momentum. And at that point in time, price is going to start hovering higher, going towards another new all-time high. Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen, and also Chiku span are going to be bullish. So even short term, we're going to be bullish. For now, we just need one more confirmation. Besides that, things are looking very nice on Kaspa. Let's see Kaspa BTC with the same type of analysis. Wow. Okay. So you need to have this on your radar, like we have TON, like we have Ondo, like we have BNB, because Kaspa was pulling some crazy moves, and we saw that here. So since May, and now if Kaspa BTC goes somewhere around this area, even I wanted to mention this to my guys, but I think it's going to be the first time since I started buying Bitcoin when I want to rotate from Bitcoin, from my Bitcoin profits, something to some of these quality altcoins. I think that in the next 3 to 6 months is going to be one of the best opportunities. If you had profits, or if you have profits from Bitcoin and you're looking to allocate something without putting more extra capital to work and adding extra pressure to your portfolio, just rotating from your Bitcoin profits to some of these altcoin profits. And Kaspa looks very good. But let's remove the drawings and let's see with Ichimoku. Even on weekly, Kaspa still looks okay. But versus Bitcoin, I want to add one more layer here. Whenever Kijun-sen, so the blue line, the baseline turns flat and it stays flat, it acts as a magnet. So we might see in the following 3 to 4 weeks, Kaspa BTC dropping a little bit versus Bitcoin. But this falls in the theory that I just added. Okay, so Kaspa versus USDT looks absolutely bullish on higher time frame, and anything that goes towards this area, in my opinion, this is a buy the dip and a buy the dip and a buy the dip. So we can have some pullback towards 0.137, 0.135, and those can be very good opportunities for medium to long term for Kaspa.
With Kaspa, man, a lot of people don't know if they don't follow it closely, but you're actually able to buy shitcoins on Kaspa now, similar to BTC. I think they're called like KRC20s. Like it's always RC20.
KRE?
That's what I'm thinking, right? But yeah, I think like there are actual shitcoins that you can actually buy on Kaspa, which is something else, man. But we're getting a little bit of a bid on BTC. Like we've pumped like $300 since the stream started. So, geez, man.
I want to add another important thing here, because besides the type of season which we had, I think that a lot of people, because they had the bear market PTSD, if they made profits, they got quickly to take out their profits in stables. And it's not bad, throughout the bull run, it's not a bad idea, especially if you have multiples of excess, to start taking something in your stable coins. However, given the fact that we are maybe 35-40% towards this bull run, maybe 50% towards this bull run, in my opinion, it would be an optimal approach to not retreat to stable coins, but to retreat to Bitcoin. Like this, you reduce your potential downside, right? So your potential drawdown in case we have this kind of market dips, if you have too much exposure to altcoins. But in the same time, if you retreat to Bitcoin with your profits, you're also going to keep exposure to the market in case we start rallying. So you're just going to make profits from profits, and you're not going to be worried to what to reallocate, because like at least in my opinion, I don't see the reason to retreat so much to stablecoins right now if I have profits from altcoins trading instead of retreating to Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I do want to say one thing regarding BTC, and I'm gonna go up and pull out Uncle Joe's profile. So
I miss Joe. I need to come on your spaces because I miss Joe.
Look at this, guys. BTC against Nvidia has reached a 7-year low. Nvidia has basically destroyed BTC on gains for about 7 years now. That is something else. But you know,
can I add something here for people who have Nvidia?
It does.
For people who have Nvidia here, imagine not taking some profits and adding to Bitcoin. I mean, come on, what better risk reward you want for your profits than here? I mean, if I would look at this kind of chart, and I would not know, this could be orange juice versus copper. I don't care. Baki versus Han. I don't care. This could have been anything at this point in time. If I would make profits with the asset which was rallying against the one which looks like is dropping or is bottoming right now, risk reward perspective, I would move some of my profits to this kind of asset, especially since in this case it's Bitcoin. Like, I would be nuts not to.
Yeah, and BTC, for it to reach the market cap of Nvidia, it would basically do a 2x from here, right? Like, the market cap for Nvidia, actually no, a 3x. Wow,
3x. I wanted to say 3x.
The market cap for Nvidia right now is 3.2 trillion. Look at BTC, can almost 3x from here, right? So, I mean, I think that's a good metric, right, to gauge Bitcoin, right? BTC reaching where Nvidia is right now, 3 trillion in market cap.
Why so bearish? Why so bearish?
That's sort of like my base case. Right?
No, but you're right. I also think that
for this cycle, at least for this cycle,
for this cycle, I think it's
like I think the bottom of the next bear market is these prices right here, just because of a sentiment basis, right? So, like, just imagine, right? Like, you're experiencing the market right now, and you see the sentiment on the timeline, which is like pretty bad. Now imagine if price is 3x from here, and then they retrace all the way back down to these levels in less than a year. It's magnified.
Do you remember that GIF with the first time with those guys hanging on the pirate ship?
Show me it, man. Refresh my memory. Let's dive into some memes here, man. So, guys, if you've enjoyed this live stream over the last hour, smash up the like button. Smash up the like. I want to see 10 likes within the next 15 seconds. Smash it up. Tell me what you guys want us to show you guys. Any tickers, what you guys are looking at, any questions. Feel free to spam the chat with anything you'd like. Tickers, questions, feel free to do so, man. But hit that subscribe button as well. Go ahead, man. What are you saying?
While my meme with first time is loading, and this is
first time here. That's what you were saying.
Yeah. The one with the hanging man. That one.
Yeah.
I want to answer one very important question. Could be a blow off top for Nvidia. Can't be on this valuation. If Nvidia would still be nominated at $1,300, I might have agreed with this kind of statement. Although right now I cannot agree with this statement because they had the stock split, and maybe this gentleman right here, I don't see Square X, or all the other people who have some financial literacy, they understand the nominal values of their assets, but most of the people don't care so much about nominal values. They just see Nvidia at 130 and they think that they're going to buy Nvidia at 130 without caring so much about the market cap. And this is also one of the reasons, for example, and I don't want to throw FUD to Tao, right? I think Tao is an interesting project. I think that they have a very interesting narrative. They're on AI. But one of the reasons why coins like Tao for AI or Illuvium for gaming, some sectors that I'm watching, might fall behind other projects is because of their nominal value per coin, right? Their cost, their price per unit. And this is very important because if you remember, normies last cycle, when they were coming to crypto, they were going to CoinMarketCap or to CoinGecko, and they were seeing Cardano. Woohoo! Cardano 004. Oh my God, this is amazing. It's gonna go to $10.
Tau has to rebrand, man. Tau has to rebrand.
Christ.
They have to rebrand. I think, didn't Elrond do the same thing last cycle? Like they did, they kind of did the reverse, right? Like Elrond went from being like a couple of cents. They did some like weird.
They did a very interesting denomination. So Elrond was called ERD back then, and it was denominated in cents. And after that, it was called EGLD. And even after that, so imagine, even after they did the denomination, they went from $1 to $550. So they were one of the most exciting projects of last cycle. But these guys kept building, man, and they're on my radar. They need a bit more liquidity in their ecosystem, but they're on my radar.
Yeah, I remember them because of Ian Bellina, man. Who? Ian Bellina.
I don't remember.
Give me a sec. I'll pull him up right here, man. He was pretty big 2 cycles ago. This is him right here, Ian Bellina.
Oh, okay. And he was like a fan of Elrond.
Yeah. He's like from the 2017 cycle. But dude, going back to Tau, man, like, brother, this thing practically retraced almost all of its year-to-date gains.
This is what I'm telling, and this is what I'm saying about projects which are good, but if they have their value per coin and it's gonna be too expensive for people, they're gonna lose in front of things like even like Pepe, right? Like, why would a normie who comes for the first time, if he has $1,000, $2,000, why? When I say why, I say from their perspective, why would they buy 4, 5 Tensor when they can buy millions and millions of Pepe? Correct?
Facts, dude. But yeah.
Mint layer. This is a project. This is a project that I had on my radar a few months back. I was not following it recently, but I'm curious because I saw a question there. Okay, yeah. So
I do see some people talking about it.
Right. So this was distribution. We went lower. Now we see that the monthly. This was an older analysis, most likely. If I have some annotations here, monthly support, which we can see it was monthly support, was flipped to monthly resistance. And maybe this would have been a good place to buy if we would bounce, but we didn't bounce. And let's see if we get a bounce from this area, which was the previous all-time high from here. And actually, you know what? I like mint layer because it covered this imbalance in price. When we have this kind of imbalances in price, most of the time, especially in altcoins, price gets there, even if it's going to be a week, because we didn't have any type of trading in this area. We just blasted through these levels, and price most of the times, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, does not matter, comes back to fill these imbalances in the price. And as we can see, this is what we did right here. So we just covered this previous imbalance. So it's very important that this level 0.19 holds, which was resistance and all-time high before, and we blasted through it. So if this holds and we have some type of a bounce, I would long it with confirmation above 0.23 or with a premium above 0.29.
So mint layer is like a BTC layer 2 kind of thing?
I don't remember exactly, but when I was researching about them, I something stuck to my mind that they have a very nice mixed team from bigger corporations from Web2, bigger backers. So, yeah.
And I want to bring up some tokens from last cycle, man. I think this one might actually be a beast. I hold none of it right now, but just from the bottom that it hit, like last year, right? And a lot of tokens, dude, they didn't end up bottoming out until like Q1, Q2 of last year. But dude, something like Thorchain basically did a 10x in like 9 months, man. When you compare that to like, what's another DeFi token that was massive that almost hit the same market cap last cycle? Take a look at Kusama, right? Pull up the max here. It's done nothing. It hasn't had a single bounce, man. So, almost a 2x bounce. And that was when everything was going up. So it bottomed in October. And it basically did, just shy of 56. 17. Well, almost a 3x. I mean, that's all right. But it's still under, it basically the same thing as Bitcoin did. That's what I was trying to say, right? And everything was going up during that time period. But where I'm getting at is like, dude, a lot of these tokens, right? Like, I think I wish there was a way to get like, you know, maybe like total 3, but take out certain market caps from certain tokens, right? Like
I'm working on a tool as you just requested. I have one of my devs which we are working together for like 6 months now on different tools, and one of these tools is going to be exactly this, to take out different parts of the market without some of these coins, and also to calculate automatically the inflation that we had since last cycles.
Yeah. Wow. I brought up Tron. It actually looks
bullish. No, this is one of the most bullish charts currently, believe me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you know what I said? I always said about Tron because of Justin Sun. I always said that I cannot hold it because something in the back of my mind would not let me sleep. Like there is something there. Like
yeah, it's just been
that guy is more than a dubious speculation.
Very dubious. It's basically like just trekking slowly, but it's still underperforming BTC. That's like the most important part, right? Like when you look at altcoins, like especially the high caps, right? Because low caps, they can have insane volatility, but
I see a lot of people speaking about bread. Should we pull up the chart on bread to give them some?
Yeah. Pull it up. I'll pull it up right now, man.
Is this one?
It's the bread on base. It's basically been up only, but like with meme coins, guys, like usually the ones that are held, usually the ones that like are held by a couple of wallets with a lot of the supply, sometimes those end up running the hardest, just because like the people that are holding a lot of the supply, they're doing marketing tactics to pump a lot of these tokens, right? And that's just a fact of the matter, right? Like you have two extremes, right? You either have a fair distribution, right? Or you have the complete opposite, where like 5 wallets hold the majority of the supply. And, you know, those are usually like massive influencers and they do what they have to do to pump the price. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? Like Pepe was kind of the same way, right? A lot of the supply was held by only a couple of wallets. And then that dump happened in June of last year. And then, you know, the wallet distribution became a bit more fair, right? So,
you want to speak about bread here on chart?
Yeah. Someone asked about it, you said, right?
Yeah, I think I saw someone on the chat, more people asked about this. So for some time after it listed on Connex on this exchange, we can see that it stayed under 008 and we didn't have any type of acceptance. So since 29th of March until 13th of April, right, the price was not accepted above this area, right? So the price could not find acceptance. And even here, we can see another attempt and we dumped lower. Here, another attempt, and finally we broke above it. Break, retest, went much higher. So we printed another all-time high, and basically the same thing is happening now. We printed another all-time high here, retested for 2, 3, 4 days. We blasted through it, and now we're retesting the previous all-time high. If we're holding here on bread, so above 0.13, this can be a very interesting swing. And the next area where I would bid if we drop, because during a bull run, and this is my playbook, after we see these kind of massive rallies, more than 250, 300%, anything more than 250%, most of the time these altcoins drop between 50 to 65%. So let's see where it would be. So I would most likely bid bread here if we bounce, because this is the playbook. If I open now 20, 30 charts of this year, of these altcoins, after 200, 300, 500 points rally, we had a 55, 65 drop.
Man, I just have to say this, man, but if Pepe draws down another 20%, man, that's a steal right there, brother. That is a steal, bro. Pepe, man.
What did I tell you before we started the stream? If that happens, I'm backing up the trucks.
Dude, like you got to think about it, right? Like if you take a look at last cycle was all about DeFi, right? And all that stuff. And people are saying, oh, man, it's Ponzi yield. Eventually, the party's going to end. They're saying the same thing about meme coins. Oh, meme coins are going to end. Meme coins are bad for the space. Brother, don't you know that, like, most of these tokens are the same trade. It's the same thing, regardless if it's RWA, regardless if it's modulated, regardless if it's an L1, regardless if it's a meme. You're playing the same trade, guys. If the equity markets do good, that is clear signal for risk on in the crypto markets. If you're saying Sol do okay on a higher time frame, BTC do good on a higher time frame, that's pretty damn good for your alts. That gives you a green signal that's okay to speculate on chain, right? Sometimes, you'll have crazy volatile moments within a bull market in crypto, and that's just the nature of the beast. You have to recognize what you're playing in. NVIDIA has like 70% more of the market cap of the total crypto market cap. That's incredible. That's insane, dude. It just goes to show, how small of a market we're in right now and how early we are in the broader perspective, right? If we're thinking in decades here, right? And if you think about, the new generation of investors that's going to come in, within the next 10 years, they're Gen Z. Where do they spend most of their time, right? Where do they give the most valuable currency in the entire world? Is just time. They spend it on brain rot apps where every other word is skibbity, what the sigma, chat, I'm cooked, right? They spend it on TikTok, man. And what's mostly on TikTok? Memes. What's mostly on YouTube? Memes. What's mostly on Twitter? Memes. It's not RWAs and DeFi this, DeFi that. It's brain rotted, dumb things that have virality and are shared outside of our circle. Pepe the Frog. Dude, it's pretty damn viral. If you use the internet, you've seen it before. Even on Facebook, you've seen Pepe before. So, those are just my thoughts, man. And Pepe was the leader out of the gate during that April bottom, and I think Pepe is probably going to be the leader out of the gate as far as the blue chip altcoins go when we bottom here shortly. As I do think the bottom is going to be put in this month. I think around within a week or so, man. At best, I think this is the takeout.
What do you think about this with what you said?
That's fine. That's fine, dude. That's fine. Like my time frame, dude, I can stay regarded more than the market can try to shake me out. All right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what would you do if we retrace to 40K BTC? You know what that means? I'll just have to look at anime a bit longer. It means I'm probably going to be gaming a bit longer. That's what it means, brother. It probably means that I'm just going to like look at charts for a couple of minutes and it's like, all right, cool. We're doing the same thing we've been doing over the last 2 to 3 weeks. All right, that's fine. I'll just train more. I'll just find another hobby, something. You got to do something, dude. Like, what am I going to do? Like cry? Like, oh no, BTC's at 40K. Like, brother, I've been here since BTC was like 3K, 4K, 5K, right? So, and it's usually during this time period, man, where people come up with the most ludicrous things, right? Like we now have the same, kind of FUD with Curve as we did last year. Oh, CRV is going to 0. That means DeFi is going to 0. That's the same thing that happened last year, dude. And the year before that with Maker. There's always some sort of crazy event that is a systemic risk and we should all be worried and all that stuff. And it's like, whatever. We'll see what the market does, right? Let the market decide, right? That's sort of like what we should all say at the end of the day. We'll let the market decide. These are my takes. We'll let the market decide, man. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that, man. So I think this is a good place to wrap up, brother. Dude, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this content and it's your first time coming on, we're Because Bitcoin. We produce 2 daily live streams for you guys. Our first show of the day is Market Check, usually hosted here on YouTube at 11 a.m. EST. On our second show of the day is hosted by me, King Wabi, on Twitter via Spaces, usually at 4:30 p.m. EST. And I do my live streams here at least once a week. Sometimes they're on Thursday or Friday. Today, it's on Friday. But usually I host Spaces about 4 times a week at the same time, sometimes a little bit later, sometimes a little bit earlier, depends. So feel free to follow our Twitter. Description is down below. Feel free to follow MisterSpread. His profile is down below as well. During our Spaces, we usually have a panel of speakers where we talk all things crypto narratives, price action, dubious speculation, and all that good stuff. Spaces are always recorded. Live streams, you can always check them out under our live tab here on YouTube. So guys, smash up the like button if you enjoyed this stream and hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications here down below if you want to keep up with all of our content. And feel free to check out becausebitcoin.com for our services, merchandise, crypto news, and all that good stuff. So Mr. Spread, I want to thank you personally for coming on, brother. I wish you a good weekend. I look forward to our next collaboration. But before I cut off, man, here, what are you up to this weekend, man?
I wish, you know what? Let's just do this for our. Hold on for 1 second, because you raised the bar, so now I have to do this for you. If you're asking what I'm gonna do this weekend,
You're gonna pull a Baki, brother?
no. I'm gonna show you what I'm doing this weekend. So I'm gonna enjoy this beautiful.
Whoa! You're in Spain right now, right?
Yeah, I'm the coast of Spain, and I'm just gonna enjoy some sangria and some beautiful people next to the beach with my beautiful wife.
Dude, that's awesome, brother. Are you gonna go to BTC Nashville?
Not this year. I don't think I'm gonna reach United States this year, but most likely next year I have some big surprises, and you're gonna see what I'm having up. So prepare, because next year we're gonna have some mean training sessions together, brother.
Yeah, I hope so, brother. I hope so, man. Brother, I want to thank you for coming on, guys.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. We talked all things high caps, mid caps. We did cover a few low cap gems, for a few minutes. I know you guys like base memes, soul memes, and all that good stuff. We covered that. We covered some macro stuff. We covered some things on equity markets. It's a jam-packed, almost an hour and a half session. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. We're at 18 subs now. Absolutely phenomenal growth. The disparity between YouTube and Twitter, that gap is finally coming to a close. It's finally becoming even. So thank you all so much that have been onboarded from Twitter onto our YouTube channel. Thank you for supporting Because Bitcoin and MisterSpread. Thank you so much for the collaborations, man.
Always a pleasure, brother. Always a pleasure. See you next time. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Peace.
I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here, maybe with like a little video or something. Crypto meme pump. Let's see. All right. Let's see, man. I'm gonna end it with this little video here, man. So we can bring on the vibes.
Do it. You're not gonna make me dance, will you?
Here we go.
We can hear it, but just in the background.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know?
Brother, soon.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
More.